the Corpus Christi Originals podcast. I'm Jesus Hernandez. Guest today, Mayra Flores, the first Mexican-born woman to ever serve in Congress. She won special election in 2022. She served as about 6 months and then lost twice to try to get back. And she's now running again. Here's why it matters to you. The district map has changed. TX-34 now includes Corpus Christi, and Mayra Flores has never represented us before.
No.
I got questions for y'all on social media, some good questions regarding topics that actually matter for our city. We're going to get into it, all of that here in a minute. Mayra, welcome. How you doing?
Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here.
You look good.
Let's talk about the kitchen table issues.
Your hair looks really nice. Looks like your hair looks... You look good. You look good. Cool.
Of course. I had to get ready to come here to the show.
Right on.
Yeah.
That was an interesting topic that came up you in another podcast down there in the valley.
Uh-huh.
You were working in the fields, right? And then you wanted some Doc Martens.
I did.
I remember that, and you were like...
I was 14 years old, and I told my dad I wanted some Doc
Your
Martens.
dad's like, well, you got to work for it.
Yeah, you got to work for them. So I started working.
That was funny.
I started working alongside my parents. A small town up in the Panhandle.
Okay.
It's called Memphis, Texas.
Memphis, yeah.
Yeah, it's by Morello. Would go work there in the fields.
That's so crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's another
so...
one.
Yeah, we'll start there. Before we talk about the politics, let's talk about you, your story, because I think that's how people connect with people that are running for Congress and stuff like that. Not so much policy positions. We'll talk about issues later. But who are you actually? And let's get back to the beginning. So from Corpus Christi, people who don't know you for the first time, who are you? Who is Mayra Flores?
I'm from San Benito. I'm from San Benito. Grew up there. Class of 2004.
Mm-hmm.
But before that, we were migrant workers, so we moved a lot growing up. 6 months out of the year, we would live in South Texas, and 6 months out of the year, we would go up in the Panhandle, a small town called Memphis,
Crazy.
Texas, and we would go work there in the cotton fields, El Asadón,
Wow.
in the summer.
Yeah.
And my parents would work at a peanut factory there as well when school started. And,
Wow.
and I did that throughout middle school, high school.
Yeah. How
and
did y'all know
and then
people up there?
graduated.
Yeah, did y'all know people up there?
Yes, my
Y'all-
dad's brothers
Oh.
live there. Cousins live there. We have a lot of family
So
there
that's how
in
y'all-
Memphis and in South Texas as well.
Wow.
So it's divided. Till this day, I still have uncles and cousins in Memphis, Texas.
Right on, man. So picking cotton. Did you work in the peanut
No,
factory?
not
Okay.
picking cotton. No, it's
what was it? I'm
hoeing. El asadón.
What is it?
Hoeing.
Okay. What,
Yeah,
like hay
removing the weeds
Okay.
from the cotton.
Yeah. No, that's cool. Wow, that's different. I'm used to cotton picking, like down here, like thinking about Robstown and stuff.
No, never did that.
Yeah. So take us back to Mexico. Do you remember what Burgos before your family came here? What was that like?
Oh, I love Burgos. I have an amazing family there. I wouldn't be who I am if it wasn't because of my grandparents who still live there.
Wow.
Raised me with very conservative values. We're all
Cool.
about faith, family, hard work. Unfortunately, in Mexico, you don't have the opportunities that we have here in the United States. But my dad is an American, so it was very easy for him to put in the right paperwork.
Yeah.
As soon as I was born, I was able to get citizenship because my dad's an American.
That's interesting. I wonder.
Yeah,
if
my
you...
grandfather's from South Texas. He was born here. He fell in love with my grandma from Mexico.
Yeah, that's cool. I wonder if your dad was actually thinking about that when he became a citizen. Like, oh, I want my kids to be citizens. You know what I mean? Because like me as a father, I'm thinking about my
his dad
kids. You
is
know what I
from
mean?
South Texas as well. So he also, got his citizenship through his father because his father is also from here.
Okay.
They just lived in Mexico.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
I
no,
wonder why.
they're-
Like, did they want to learn the culture? Like, what was the whole reason why? You
Fell
know?
in love with my grandma.
There it is. Sorry.
my grandma did not.
Sometimes if you say stuff, it'll just fly right by, and I'll
For
go back
example,
and
my
ask.
mom's from Mexico, and she did not want to come here to the United States.
Really?
It took us to get a little older for my dad to convince her that it was best for us to live here in the United States.
Wow, that's cool.
But it was not because we couldn't come here. We did have, we were in a privileged position where we wanted to be in Mexico, and then when it was time, we came here to the United States.
Seems like they wanted you to learn the culture or something like that. Because I've got family too. Like they born here, but
Mexico has a beautiful culture.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate to see what's happening in Mexico.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of the reasons why
Sorry.
I don't want to see the violence and the cartel, what the cartel has done to Mexico
Mm-hmm.
for that to happen here in the United States. And a lot of people think, oh, that'll never happen. But we never thought that it would happen in Mexico either. And it's only getting worse and worse. And every time someone crosses illegally into the country, you have to pay the cartel. So it's funding a criminal organization, a terrorist organization that abuses women and children. And it empowers them and has the people of Mexico terrorized. Mexico has the most rapes for women, killings for women. It's not a safe country for women.
Oh, crazy. How much of an influence do you think they have in the United States government, or like the border and stuff like that? Because obviously we're so close to them, and you might see that their influence could be influencing our.
It's a huge,
You know what I'm saying?
huge influence, because a lot of the cartel's families, their wives and children live in South Texas. So their families are in South Texas, going to school in South Texas, because that's where they're protected.
Yeah. Wow, interesting. That's so cool, man. This is cool. It's interesting.
And one of the reasons why it's so important for us to, improve the legal process and encourage people to come here to the United States legally, where women and children don't have to put themselves in a dangerous position, and not come here to United States illegally.
Right. That makes sense. Especially if because they might have the best intentions trying to come in.
It's not
here
like
for
the
whatever
70s,
reason.
80s anymore. You have to pay the cartel. You have to pay that quota. If you don't pay that quota, they'll kill you. I had a family member not too long ago, a taxi driver. He did not pay the monthly quota, and he was murdered in Reynosa. And this happened about a month ago.
Yeah.
And so I've lived it in my family. My dad's brother was also kidnapped a couple years ago, and he was able to escape that kidnap. If not, they would have killed him, even though we had paid. And my dad was brutally beaten by the cartel as well a couple years ago, because he didn't want to give up his truck.
Oh, crazy.
And they almost killed him. So I've lived it, and that's one of the reasons why I'm very big on enforcing the law. And I don't think that should be politicized. I don't think it's a Republican or Democrat issue. It's like, we should enforce the law no matter what the politics are. It's just unfortunate that politics have gotten on the way of doing what's right.
So crazy. Do you have a plan to influence a more streamlined process for immigration? We might answer that. I don't know if you want to answer that question, but it's interesting that you're from Mexico. And a lot of people, it's already obviously in a lot of people's minds, like, why are you against people coming to America?
I'm not against people coming here to the United States.
Yeah.
No,
not you, but in general, like say, I guess you, because you're from Mexico, right? Or not from Mexico, you grew up there.
It's a big lie. It's also to deceive the Hispanic community. But I am for immigration. We are for immigration, but legal immigration. Why would anyone in their right mind encourage illegal immigration, knowing how dangerous the journey is? And so those who advocate for illegal immigration, they're somewhere or another benefiting from it. That's why.
So crazy.
But no one benefits from illegal immigration but the terrorist organizations, the cartel. And at the end of the day, it's the Mexican people that pay the consequences, because illegal immigration is funding a terrorist organization that has the people of Mexico terrorized.
It's so crazy.
And a lot of people live here in the United States, and they don't know what's like to live in Mexico. They go on vacation in Mexico, and they think that they understand Mexico. There's a huge difference, you vacationing in Mexico and actually living in Mexico.
For sure. Yeah. So grew up in Memphis, Texas. That's good stuff. Citizenship at 14. How do you? So what was the day? What did the day mean to you and your family becoming an American citizen?
Well, I was. I don't know that the age. I don't know why it says that. I was.
Sorry, I got this off AI. I'm trying to.
It's okay.
You can correct me.
Like I said, my dad was an American, so we're granted citizenship. Because your father is an American citizen. So I didn't have to file for citizenship.
Yeah, right on. I was going to ask, did you remember the ceremony? But that question's obviously off the table.
No. Yeah, like I said, my dad was an American. My family from South Texas. Right born here in South Texas.
Yeah, that's cool. So, and you got into respiratory therapy? What's up with that?
Yes.
What drew you to that? Yeah. Yeah, what drew you to that?
I always wanted to get in the medical field. I honestly, one of the best years of my life being a respiratory therapist. I loved it. I miss it.
Really? Wow.
I miss it so much. Yes, I enjoyed it. As soon as I graduated, I worked in the NICU. I also did home health as well. I worked with children with disabilities and respiratory issues. And that was very difficult. I'm a mom of 4. So, working with children on a ventilator really takes a huge toll on you.
Your children had that experience?
No.
Like
I being a mom,
yeah.
it just takes a huge toll on you taking care of children that depend on a ventilator because they can't breathe.
So crazy.
They depend on this ventilator 24/7, and them wanting you to disconnect them because they want to be able to run and they want to be able to breathe. It's the hardest. It's one of the most hardest but most rewarding jobs because there was a moment in my life that I would get after my kids for jumping and running. And when I became a respiratory care practitioner and took care of children with those type of disabilities, I enjoyed watching my kids running and jumping and making a mess because all day I was watching and taking care of children that were on a bed and that weren't able to do the things that my children were able to do. And I did that for a few years, and it was just very I took it very personal and decided to just work for the elderly. Said, I'm going to go work for the elderly. They've lived a long life.
Yeah.
I thought it was going to be easier working with the elderly, but it's just as difficult because no matter what age we are, it's never easy to lose a loved one. But I learned and became so much wiser working with the elderly community and just hearing their experiences and what was like, in their times,
they
and
often
hearing their advice and them sharing their wisdom. I would always ask men, like, what would you change if you could go back? And it was always spending more time with family. And the women would tell me that they wish they would have gotten some type of education, that they wish that they would have gone to school and got an education. Like it was very different.
Oh yeah,
so
for sure.
Men overworked and they felt they wanted to spend more time with their family if they could go back. And the women, the elderly women would tell me that they wish they would have prioritized themselves a little bit more. And so I do resonate with that. As women, as moms, we tend to put ourselves in the back burner and prioritize everything but ourselves. And that's something that I do think as moms we need to prioritize ourselves and put us first, because if we're taking care of ourselves physically, emotionally, everything else will align itself. I think it's important, but as moms, we tend to put ourselves in the back burner, and that most women, elderly women, in their last moments, they would always tell me that they wish that they would have prioritized themselves a little bit more, and because of that, I started changing as well and prioritizing also my well-being.
That's good. I can relate to that. My wife, we have 2 kids.
But I love respiratory. In respiratory, there's no politics. So,
sure.
I love it because you don't care about if you're Republican or Democrat, you want to take care of your patient. And that's what I love
aside
the
from
most.
all that too, like just to be knowledgeable about like what happens to your body after you give birth, or even before you give birth, like that can take a toll on a woman. You know what I'm saying? Like aside from
physically, emotionally, yes.
I had a lady on here. She was a doula or something like that, but she was explaining like to me like the process and all this. I'm like, dang, you guys actually go through that type of stuff.
Much.
Yeah, it's so crazy. Yeah,
and there's not enough resources. I also think for us, and we need to advocate for more more resources for women. Absolutely.
Definitely.
But that's what I learned in the medical field, is just to take care of your patient. And so once you're in office, it's the same thing. Once you're in office, you're there to serve all people, no matter what their political. Once you're in the position, I just hate it because you have to get through the politics. You have to go through the dark.
And then here everybody's like complain like, oh, here
you have to go
I can't imagine how like you're like
to
what?
Get to the policy.
I
wish we could skip the politics and get to the policies, because at the end of the day, the policies are what's going to impact people's
Yeah.
real lives.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, definitely. So the American dream.
The American
You
dream,
start
el
a lot of.
sueño americano.
Yeah, that's how you start a lot of your speeches. I am the American dream. What
We
does the
are. We
so
are
what
the
does it mean to
American
you
dream.
personally? Not as a slogan, but like in your actual life.
Well, a lot of people think that when I became a member of Congress that I had accomplished the American dream. No, that being in Congress is not the American dream.
Hey.
I had already
Yeah.
accomplished the American dream. The American dream is, you having a job, you having your family, you being able to
It'd
provide,
be different for
you know,
everybody.
you like the American dream means different for different people.
Yeah.
But for me, living the American dream is having a job, having your home, having your children that are healthy and strong.
Yeah.
You being able to provide
Yeah.
for yourself and your family. You're living the American dream just by doing that alone. The American dream is not you being in politics or, running for office. I ran to preserve the American dream because I feel that our children will have less and less opportunities. And we're leaving our children a country that is $38 trillion in debt.
So crazy.
And that's not the country that we inherited. So we're failing our children by us leaving our children a country that is $38 trillion
So
in
crazy,
debt.
man. Yeah. Yeah. My wife and I, we talk about that like a lot. Like
And I don't care.
we're afraid about what's gonna happen.
We
like
we run on
for them. You know what I mean?
we run on cutting spending, and then they get into office and don't cut spending. So for example, right now we haven't gone back to pre-pandemic spending.
Why do
So
you think that is?
I would love to know that, because that's the minimum we can do. When COVID happened, we increased funding because we were in the middle of a pandemic. I understand that. But why are we not going back to pre-pandemic spending? A lot of times it's because they're afraid that the Democrat Party will say they're cutting on education.
Do you
They're
think we
cutting on
could go back
healthcare.
to
We have
pre-pandemic
to.
spending? Can we like?
Absolutely. We just need to stop sending billions of dollars abroad that we don't have. I'm sure you pay your bills first. You're not paying your neighbor's
I
bills.
definitely pay my taxes. I know that much.
You're
know
not
what I
paying
mean?
your neighbor's bills first, right? You're paying your bills first. It's the same. We as a country have to start paying our own bills first and not someone else's. If we're able to help other countries, great. But if we're not, we don't have the luxury to do that.
Crazy.
We don't have a revenue problem in this country. We have a spending problem. And we're on a budget here, so
Not even-
we need
and not
we
only
need to put our
government-
own government
it's not
on a
even-
budget.
It's not only government. It's like like our own spending too. Like I'm an advocate of like not being in debt. You know what I
Living
mean?
within our own means.
Yes,
it's
exactly.
hard.
Exactly.
It's hard, but our government is not living within their own means.
Yes,
Like they're still borrowing and printing. Every single day we're printing money and we're paying a high interest because of it.
Yeah. Let's shift to your faith. I want to shift to something that I know is important to me and you, our faith. I would say that I'm a Christian, quote unquote. I would say more like I try to strive to live by biblical principles. I don't like to call myself a Christian. I like for people to call me a Christian.
Yeah.
I've been married 12 years. My faith is a big part of who I am. And I know you talk about yours a lot too. So I want to go deeper into that, and not the bumper sticker version, but the Mayra version. Like what does it actually look like for you? You talk about being raised to put God and family first. What did that actually look like for you growing up? How did your family practice their faith?
I was just born into it. I don't know what it's like not to have faith in God. I was born into a family who's always believed in God, and doesn't mean that I'm perfect. No, it's because I'm not perfect is that I always put God first because of it. So I wouldn't be who I am without my faith in God. And
is it like you went to church every Sunday, like Catholic
No,
mass, or like what was a typical like weekend or whatever?
I stay in prayer every single day. I stay in prayer. I do go to church, not as often as I should. I should go more to church, but I do go to church, not as often as I wish. But for me, it's more about having a relationship. You can go to church every single Sunday and not have a relationship with God.
Yeah, I believe that.
And so a lot of people go to church every single, and there are probably a lot of them are very judgmental, and And I don't believe in that.
Yeah,
I don't believe in that.
it's discouraging. Like for me,
It is. I don't like.
yeah.
I don't like people that are constantly bringing people's past. So let's say that you went to prison. I've never been to prison, but let's say you went to prison
Yeah.
and you're wanting to strengthen your faith in God and start going to church, and then people start reminding you, oh, you think you're all that, and
Yeah.
you went to prison, and
Yeah.
they try to bring your past. I can't with those type of people
Yeah.
that are constantly bringing you down when you're trying to lift yourself up and improve.
Yeah.
Remove those people from your life. If
Yeah.
your past didn't kill you, why are you going to let it kill your future?
Yeah.
You know? And so I for me, it's about a relationship. It's not necessarily, it's important to go to church,
Yeah.
but most important is about you having a relationship with God. Personally, that's what matters to me the most, is
Yeah.
having that intimate relationship with God and staying in prayer every single day.
Yeah, so prayers is huge for me. Do you read the Bible at all?
Yes.
Yeah.
10, 15 days. 10, 15 days.
Which
a week.
one's your favorite? Which part is your favorite? Which part of the Bible?
I would say, Matthew. Matthew straightens you up.
Crazy.
And you're like, oh, okay, I got it.
Yeah. Proverbs is mine. Like always, Proverbs is filled with wisdom.
Yeah, but it's more inspiring,
Yeah.
But I feel like Matthew, it's like, okay, I got it. I'm gonna do my best.
Was there a moment? Yeah, was there a moment in your faith when your faith became your own and not just your parents?
Yes, I think, being involved in politics, it got me closer to God, especially right now. Especially, I'm going through a time where, in politics, there's no loyalty. I have loyalty, but unfortunately, in politics, there's a lot of people that do not know what loyalty is.
So crazy.
And so people are willing to betray you for a position of power. I just personally couldn't do that. I personally could never betray someone that helped me be in the position that I'm in. And so if it wasn't because of that constant betrayal that I have faced, I had God to turn to. And God has put me in a position where I only have him to turn to, but
Yeah.
it strengthened me. And so now all my faith and all my confidence, it's grown tremendously, because I know this victory is mine because God has already given me that victory. And so it doesn't matter who endorses my opponent, who endorses against me. Like, those endorsements don't mean nothing to me, because at the end of the day, I know that victory is already mine, because I'm called to do so, and because of the hard work that I've put in, not just yesterday or a week ago. No, Team Mayra has been putting work in this district since 2021.
Yeah.
And you mentioned how we lost our reelection, but the reason why we lost our reelection was because of redistricting. So when I served in Congress, it was one map that President Biden won by 4 points. Then they redrew the lines in 22, and they made the district a district where President Biden had won by 17 points, and I lost that by 2 points. And so I'm very proud of the hard work that we've put in, and now the lines have been redrawn once again, and we see the path to victory. But it's not just because it's redrawn, but also because of the work that we've been putting in for years. And we've always been focused on the people, regardless of the politics. For me, it's about prioritizing the economy in this area, bringing good paying jobs, because our children leave South Texas for better opportunities. They leave Nueces County for better opportunities. Why can't we bring that American dream here? Not that the American dream, a lot of people don't accomplish the American dream here. I'm sure that they do, but not enough. A lot of people leave this area for better opportunities. I want those opportunities here. I want to promote. I want to show off our district. I want people to come invest in this area. We have the ingredients to be successful. Why not? Why can't they come here and invest and bring good $20 an hour jobs, $25 an hour of jobs, $30 an hour jobs, and transform Texas District 34? That shouldn't be political. Me wanting good paying jobs and to see prosperity in this area and less people on government assistance, because I'm for government assistance, but I want to get people out of government assistance. So
how does your faith connect to all this, what you're saying?
Well, because
that's what we're
God
talking
wants
about.
us to see us prosper.
So, like, okay, cool. So, like, So so you were in Congress 6 months.
Yeah.
Those 2 times that you lost, how were you? What was your relationship with God like then?
It's always been great. It's always
Like
strengthened
what did
me,
you
and
tell
I've
him, God? How
never.
come I didn't win? Or
No,
you
I've
know what I
never
mean? What was it
questioned
like?
God. I've never questioned him. I've always trusted everything that's happened in my life.
Mm-hmm.
It's for a reason. And I was proud because every time we were getting closer and closer and closer.
Yeah.
And sometimes
Did you
things,
feel like you were like, I'm gonna win this? Like, did you have it like, I'm gonna win this for sure, and then it didn't happen? You know what I mean? How did you
I've never felt
overcome that? You know what I'm saying?
to be I've never felt this confident. Like right now, the
Mm.
way I feel now, I didn't feel in those 2 cycles,
Uh-huh.
but I felt called to do so. And so even though I was like, I'm going to do this, this is what my gut instinct tells me
Yeah.
to do. And I'm glad that I did, because if not, I wouldn't have the name ID that I have right now. And so I wouldn't be able to do what I do if I wouldn't have ran in those cycles. Yes, I didn't win, but I won in so many ways.
Mm.
Sometimes losing is not always losing.
That's
You know,
funny.
you win in many other ways. And
Yeah,
so
a
I
loss
wouldn't
yeah.
be who I
No, I
am.
agree to that, because a loss can be a win because it can teach you something for the future.
Yes.
Definitely, yeah. Man, so I want to approach this with care because you're a Christian, I'm a Christian, quote unquote. You mentioned about your divorce, and this is in a lot of people's mind. You've obviously been slandered for it and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And that's not what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to approach her like from like when I heard that, I was like, damn,
Yeah,
another Christian sister that has gone through this adversity.
Yeah.
Like, what's going on? You know, I've talked about this in my personal podcast. Like, is the church not
And-
teaching enough about this? Like, what's
No,
the,
no.
you know,
And
what's
it's not
happening?
it's not something I promote or celebrate.
Right.
It's the hardest thing I'm sure anyone listening that's gone through it, it's very difficult. But we have the right to do what's best for us, you know, and if we don't feel safe, we have the right to make a decision that is going to make us feel safe.
How do your kids handle it? Because I've got kids, and I can't imagine. You know what I mean? Like, how that would affect them. You know?
Because we have a much better we have a great co-parenting relationship. You know, there's no, you know, we share custody. And so they're with me, they're with him every single day.
Yeah, I
and
could
so
see that.
that's the difference, where we respect each other. And so our kids are doing really good. They're,
Yeah,
you know,
that's cool. What would you say
Yeah.
to somebody else that might be going through the same situation?
I would say to put your feelings aside and put the well-being of your children, and to do your best to respect each other, because at the end of the day, you're still family, you know, and they need mom and they need dad. And so that's something that both him and I understood, that we needed to have that relationship. I don't talk a lot about it because he's in a very serious relationship, and so I'm respectful of that.
Yeah.
But we
That's
have a very respectful relationship, and he's a great father, and he's there for them, and I'm
Yeah.
there for my kids as well.
Right
So
on,
we have
right on.
we
good.
have a shared custody.
Yeah, that must be must be tough. So now we're getting to the political journey, which is obviously what you want to talk about. Let's get past that. Because of your journey has been seems like a roller coaster, historic wins, tough losses,
Yeah.
and now you're back on another run. Walk me through that. In 2022 special election won. Take me back to that night in 2022 when you won the special election. You made history, first
Yeah.
Mexican-born woman in Congress. What was that like?
Well, it meant everything for South Texas. You know, we hadn't elected a Republican in over 100 years.
That's crazy.
And we put the Democrat Party in a position where now they needed to get to work, because they took the people of South Texas for granted. The Democrat Party wouldn't do anything because they thought they're always going to vote for us no matter what we do. So they took us for granted. And so what we did, we put pressure on them that, hey, you don't get the job done, we're going to vote you out. Just because you're Democrat
Yeah.
doesn't mean that we're going to vote for you over and over
Why do you
and
think a
over.
lot of us like voted Democrat or vote Democrat?
Well,
Like,
because we are raised that way, and we're raised to think that the Democrat Party's
like
the
for
party of the
us?
for the poor.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I always heard this, that the Democrat Party is the party of the poor, but it's the party of poverty. You know, I don't want my community to be poor.
Mm-hmm.
I want to also empower the middle class. The middle class is the one that works day and night, barely makes it, doesn't have housing, doesn't qualify for food stamps. Why? Because they work. And they're the ones that carry the big burden
Yeah.
in this country. They're the ones that are sustaining this country, the middle, hardworking class that
Crazy.
works every single day. So I
So
am a
there,
big
those working
advocate
class led to believe
for
like,
the hardworking people.
yeah. So the working class are the ones that were led to think, okay, the Democrats are the ones that are for us, and so I guess
And the Republican Party is the party of the rich,
Okay,
you know.
yeah.
But in reality, we are for the hardworking people, you know. Not that, you know.
Can there be any Democrats that are for? Could it be? Because it seems like when you run for Congress or something like that, you have to pick red or blue. You can't be like, okay, well,
in
maybe
a
I agree with this. You know what I'm saying?
In a primary, you have to, you know, in a primary, you do have to ask for a Democrat ballot or a Republican ballot.
Right, right.
In the general, is different. In the general, you can vote for whoever you want.
No, I'm talking about somebody that's running. Like, say yourself, like, well, not yourself or anybody. Like, say you're running for, you want to be in Congress, right? Like, I want to be in Congress. Why do I have to pick red? Why do I have to pick blue? What if I agree with both sides? Do you know what I'm saying?
You can't vote for both of them.
I'm not saying vote for both of them,
Right.
but if somebody has something that I like what they're saying that could help the working class,
Absolutely.
if they're red or blue, like why not? You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
like,
yeah.
I'm trying to say, yeah, you
You
see,
have
you
the
see what I'm
right
saying?
to, absolutely, and you have the right to do that.
Yeah.
You have the right to vote for whoever you think is best for your community.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
If you think a Republican or you have that right to decide that.
Yeah, has that ever has it come to your mind? Like, has that come to your mind? Like,
Absolutely.
Do I have to pick red? Do I have to pick blue? Why do I have to do that? You know what I'm saying?
Well, for me-
as far as a party, picking a party to be able to be elected into Congress,
Right.
and not so much like, oh, I'm this, I'm that. You know what I'm saying?
Personally, I've never questioned, you know, for me, it's the Republican Party.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's the party that I align the most. Is it perfect? No.
Yeah, yeah.
But it's a party that I align the most. But as a voter, you have the right to decide
Yeah, of
what
course.
you think is best for you. I'll tell you this, though. I've seen a lot of hate being instilled in us and telling us that you have to hate that person because of their political affiliation. No.
Yeah, I've
No,
heard that too.
if someone is instilling you hate towards your fellow brothers
Yeah.
and sisters, like, you've already lost me.
Right.
Because I don't hate anybody
Yeah.
because of their political affiliation. I will disagree on your views and your policies, and that's okay. And would love to have a conversation. Just this morning, I had a conversation
Oh, yeah.
with someone that was very far left leaning, and,
Yeah.
and here I am. But guess what? We were able to have a conversation. The more conversations we have, the better. If we are not having conversations with people we don't agree, that only divides our country.
Yeah, how do we decide? How do we know what the people that are running for office, what they're saying is true? Because a lot of times what we see is what's in front of us and not what's
know.
the actual substance. You know what I mean? Like, how do we know?
I would say go to their website. Go to their website. You know, mine is www.mayrafloresforcongress.com.
Plug.
But go to their website, do your own research. Don't just go based on, you know, ads. Like, for example, right now, there's all types of ads. They're all against me. It's all with a purpose.
Would you say that
You
you
know?
could look at their track record, like this is what they've done?
Yeah,
so far?
do your research instead of an attack ad that already has an agenda.
Mm.
That agenda is for you to hate me.
Yeah.
which is not good.
Yeah.
Do your research.
You're on a podcast now. You've been on several podcasts.
Mm-hmm.
How much of an influence do you think podcasts have on these elections?
I think podcasts have the most important. People don't even watch TV anymore. I don't watch TV. I don't know about you. I don't watch TV. But I know a lot of people that do. But I think that people are listening more to real conversations like this and watching,
Yeah.
a bunch of propaganda
Yeah, man, can't stand the propaganda. Real quick,
and
guys.
smear campaigns.
Yeah, real quick, guys. We got a show on this Friday at our walk. Corpus Christi Originals presents Comedy Night. Go check it out. $20 at the door. The ticket link $25. Lito, Javi Luna, Tina La Cochina, they're all gonna be there. It's gonna be a great night. Go check it out. Friday, February 6th. Check it out, you guys. Yeah, Mayra, that's awesome. So your political journey, let's get back to that. We're talking about, what did it feel like when you first went into the Capitol for the first time? Did it smell funny in there?
No. No, for me, it was just a very proud moment for us all in South Texas. I wanted to put us in the map.
Yeah.
I wanted everybody to know who we were here in South Texas. Because for a long time, nobody was talking about South Texas and Washington.
Yeah,
and I wanted them to, hey, we're Americans too. Like, pay attention to us.
Yeah.
And we need funding into this area. We need y'all to come and invest here and just promote it and show off.
How did you feel when you got endorsed by the president at that time? Like, was it like what was what were your initial thoughts? Like, oh, the president's.
Well, I'm always grateful for all the past endorsements. I've had all the endorsements. People have endorsed me, have endorsed against me.
Yeah.
But I've never ran on endorsements. I'm grateful.
I guess what I'm asking is,
for the support,
for sure.
But for me,
Yeah.
it's not about endorsements. It's about knocking doors.
I'm talking about like so President Trump. I didn't want to say his name. President Trump endorsed you, right? What, like, I understand where you're coming from, like endorsements and stuff like that. But like, what did you think? Like, why is he endorsing me? Like, did you think like, what was his purpose behind endorsing me?
No,
you know what I
not
mean?
at all.
Because some people can look at it like, oh, she's a Mexican lady, she's from the South, Trump is border whatever or whatever, all that stuff is going on. You know what I'm saying? Like, did you have those that
not
moment?
at all. Not at all.
Or you just kind of trusted it because he's a Republican president, this and this and that.
Right.
Okay.
I never saw it that way.
Mm-hmm.
Look, I'm proud of my roots. I'm proud of being,
Yeah.
but I'm also proud of being an American.
Yeah.
And we do have the qualifications to be in these positions. We've been brainwashed into
crazy.
thinking that only lawyers and certain people can be in these
people that have so
positions.
much amount of money and stuff like that.
Right.
Yeah.
And for example, my opponent said, oh, I'm going to donate my salary. If you vote for me, I'm going to donate my salary. Well, see, he comes from a privileged position. Right there, I'm like, wow.
You already know.
I already know. You come from a very privileged position. Who nowadays can say that they can go to work and donate their salary?
Yeah.
And so, no, we don't want people like you in Congress because people like us, the everyday American that understands what it's like to live paycheck to paycheck,
and it's weird
also need to be in these positions. But when people hear, oh, he's going to donate his salary, that's wonderful. I'm like, wait a minute. you don't understand. He comes from a very privileged position.
Yeah.
You can't donate your salary.
Yeah.
And why should only people that are wealthy?
Yeah. And I think, like you're saying, we're trained to think like, okay, the Republican has money and the Democrat doesn't have money. You know what I'm saying?
Or only people with a tie and a suit, can be in these positions.
So when a person like yourself who's in respiratory,
honestly, that's why we're in the mess that we're in.
Yeah, like
because we're not running our country.
Yeah, and what I'm saying is like, you a person yourself that came from the working class, like how is that person a Republican? You know what I mean? That's just where my mind is going. I'm not trying to like say this or that.
For me, it's just about the values. Look, I cannot comprehend how anyone can tell me that a man can play in women's sports. Mm-hmm. We're not the same.
Crazy.
We're not the same.
And that's very controversial too, right? Like
a man should never play in women's sports. Mm-hmm. A man should never go into women's restrooms. Little girls, we should be respected. Our privacy should be respected. Women shouldn't be playing in men's sports either. We're not here to compete with each other. We're here to complement each other. But a child also should never be able to transition. How are you going to give an 8-9-year-old puberty blockers? You can't get a tattoo until you're 18, and you're telling me that this child should be given puberty blockers? It's interesting
that you can have that opinion, and some people can have a different opinion.
You can call me extreme. A lot of people call me extreme on this. For me, it's common sense. A man cannot get pregnant, okay? Only biological women can get pregnant. And so I just cannot get ever on that side and that type of ideology that cannot describe not even what a woman is.
And so that's a Republican. Would you say that that's a Republican stance and
we're
not
very
a Democratic
strong
stance?
Yeah, the Democrat Party, supports children transitioning, supports men playing in women's sports, supports men going into women's restrooms. I mean, these are facts. This is what they voted.
What if the person says that they're a woman or they're a man, but they're not? How do you feel? Like, what are your thoughts?
They can think
on
whatever they want, and
but
rainbows and butterflies, but you're not.
But this is what
you're a biological man.
Yeah.
And you're a biological woman. Just because you put a dress on doesn't make you a woman.
So for moving forward, so we're talking about political journey. Vicente Fernandez, he won both times, and
Vicente Gonzalez.
Sorry, Vicente Gonzalez.
I'm like, por tu maldito
the second time in 2024, Trump won your district for over 4 points, but Vicente Gonzalez won by 5,000 votes. What do you think happened?
Well, actually, Cameron County, we only lost it by 200 votes, and Senator Ted Cruz lost Cameron County by thousands. Governor Abbott lost Cameron County by thousands. I'm actually one of the few Republicans.
Where's Cameron County? Is that near
Bronzeville?
Okay.
Bronzeville. So I am right next to President Trump. I had the highest. I lost in mail-in ballots. I won all early voting and election day. I lost in the mail-in ballots. And a lot of people just didn't vote down the ballot. You think
there's a lot of fraud with that voting stuff?
I'm sure fraud exists, and that's why it's important for us to make sure that we secure elections and require voter ID. I mean, to go to the bank and withdraw money, you need an identification. To fly, you need an identification. So I don't know why it's so offensive to ask for, to have voter ID.
Why do you think people split their ticket, voted Trump, but not you?
Well, a lot of people just didn't vote down the ballot. Not necessarily not me. They just voted for President Trump. So there were a lot of first-time voters, never voted in their life ever.
Interesting.
First time. All they did was Trump and goodbye.
Crazy.
Yeah.
The maps changed. Corpus Christi
sir.
is now part of your district, but you never represented us before.
No, this is the first time.
For people who are watching, what do you need to learn about this community, and what do you need to know about Corpus?
Well, for me, it's about. That's why I'm spending a lot of time in Oasis. I'm here on a weekly basis to hear the needs of this community. They're not necessarily the same from Cameron County. Here in Oasis, I've been hearing a lot of water.
What have you been here? Yeah, I was going to say.
Water issues. But in Cameron County, to be honest with you, it's water everywhere in the entire district. But here in Oasis, I do hear a lot about water. But knocking doors is the economy as well. The cost of living is very high. And
right, I'm listening. I'm reading. Joaquin Rangel on YouTube, he's mentioning about. I got your question about the special needs, Rangel. He actually runs a special needs thing. We're going to get to his question here in a minute. An extension on Trump as per social media. How does increasing the cost to purchase a house help the middle class?
It doesn't. No, that's why I believe in bringing the cost down. We have to bring the cost down for the everyday American. Right now, the cost of living is very high, and the minimum wage just doesn't match. So you look at the minimum wage and you look at the cost of living, it needs to drop. And one of the reasons why it hasn't is because of the constant overspending. We have to cut spending in order for the cost of living to go down. The cost of living will continue to increase if we continue to increase our funding.
Cool, nice, awesome. So going back to Corpus Christi and the Valley, what issues do you think are different here than over there, than in the Valley?
Well, knocking doors, in both Cameron County, Willacy, Clayburgh, everyone that we're talking, it's still the economy for everyone. So the number one issue, yes, water is an issue, but it's the economy. It's the cost of living for everyone. Cameron, Clayburgh, Willacy, Kennedy, everyone in this area, it's about the economy. Yeah. They want to see a reduction in in grocery costs, interest rates for him to go down, which President Trump, if I'm not mistaken, put a cap on all credit cards, no more than 10%. Interest rates, because the interest rates for credit card debt was at 30%. We're at the highest right now in credit card debt.
That's why I don't like that.
As a country we're at our highest in debt, in credit card debt. So President Trump did put a cap that credit cards cannot charge you no more than 10. And that's going to help because more money is going to go into your actual debt and not into the interest. Because a lot of people, the minimum they pay on their credit card just goes into their interest.
How will you represent the community you're still getting to know, our community here?
By bringing back the bacon into this area again, and making sure we also have the right elected officials too at the local level, because I can bring the bacon, I can bring all the funding into this area, but if we don't have the right people at the local level, at the state level, that also makes it very difficult. So I'm going to be very involved in local and state elections and making sure that we have the right people that are actually going to be helping the people and not just their compadres, because we have a compadrismo.
Why do you think Trump switched his endorsement to Eric Flores? I understand he just withdrew it or whatever, but he did flip nonetheless. Why do you think that he did that?
Well, he made a mistake. We all make mistakes. And I'm sure this comes from...
The president made a mistake? Are you serious?
We all make mistakes. We all make mistakes. Absolutely.
Did you see it coming? Did you see it coming? Did you think he would like that?
Nothing surprises me anymore. No, nothing surprises me, but I'm very confident in the work that I'm doing. I don't need an endorsement to win this election.
Have y'all talked to his team about why?
No, not at all. But I do think this is coming from his advisors. I do not think that this came from him. There's a lot of bad advisors. I mean, they've endorsed a lot of rhinos. Eric Flores voted for Biden, worked for the Biden's DOJ, the same DOJ that was trying to put him in prison.
I really don't want to. I don't want to talk about anybody that's not here to defend them.
Right. It's okay.
So
these are facts.
I would more welcome to have them on here.
These are facts, so people can actually Google.
People can look it up.
Did Eric Flores work for the Biden's DOJ?
I don't know the facts.
Yeah.
So I mean, I'd rather
them look it up.
I'd rather them to look it up, and not. I don't want I wouldn't want him to bash you. I wouldn't say the same if he was here. I wouldn't
he is every single day.
I don't care, but if he was here, this is my platform. It's not. It's not a platform for Republican or Democrat or anything like that. That's why I'm trying to stick to the points.
Yeah, you mentioned
and you
him.
Like
why?
To talk. So I'm like, well, hold on.
It's important. You mentioned the endorsement, right? So
yes.
And why he endorsement. So
like my question was, did you reach out to their team? Did you think he would flip? So this was about Trump's decision and not who Eric Flores is. So and you answered it. You answered it.
I'm sure he doesn't know.
Yeah, you answered
who he
it.
Truly is.
And you answered. Yeah, cool. And so does that obviously does that change anything about your campaign?
No, not at all. We continue to knock doors and we continue to get the work done, because at the end of the day, it's about the grassroots. And we're leading double digits in this race, and nothing's going to change. No endorsement can change the work that we've done.
Well, so without getting into attacks with the people who aren't here to defend themselves, why should Republican voters choose you over the other 4 that are in the race?
Well, I'm the only one who has a proven record. And so I'm the only one who's, actually been in office. You know exactly what you're going to get. I had a top America First Texas District 34 first voting record. I always prioritize the needs of this area. In just 7 months, I brought more money than the prior member of Congress that was representing the district. In just 7 months, I brought over $200 million into this area. So as soon as I got elected, I started working in making sure that we brought the funds into this area. We closed the highest casework. In 7 months, we were number 1 in casework in the state.
What's casework?
Helping the community. For example, we'll have constituents calling issues with Social Security and making sure that they got their Social Security.
How do we find all this information? On your website, or do we go
on the website? But once you're in office, there's going to be a phone number, and doesn't matter what side politically you're in. You go into your congressman's office. If you have any issues with Social Security, they should be able to help you, regardless of the politics.
No, okay, cool. How do we find out about because you're talking about your track record. You're the one that brought the most. How do we
Website.
find? So we go to your
Website, or you can Google my name.
So
You can do Mayra Flores voting
what's
record,
yeah,
and
yeah, yeah, for sure. Like,
yeah.
so what's the credible source? So what's the credible? Because I can create a website and be like, oh, this, and this, and it
No,
could
no,
be
no.
true. So
Right,
like, what's the credible
there's
source?
different websites
Yeah.
and that you can actually go into.
Yeah.
Once you put on Google Mayra Flores,
Mm-hmm.
there'll be different websites and sources that you trust or that you don't. There's different websites.
Yeah, okay.
Right, but the Heritage
Gotcha.
Foundation is one of them, but there's many other websites that you can find information. But
Nice.
my voting record always prioritized the needs of this area.
Cool. So obviously we're going to talk about the issues that Corpus that we face here, and Joaquin, I'm going to get to your question here in a little bit. He actually sent the question. It's not that one that's up there. It's regarding. Actually, let me see if I can find it real quick. He's already here. So we're talking about the Corpus Christi area, that this kind of the stuff that we face here. But he's in special needs, and he says that it's basically hard for Texas to work with his nonprofit because of the DEI situation. They kind of lumped them in to that. So he works with a special needs foundation, and he says that here it is right here. I got this question from Joaquin Rangel. He runs a special needs nonprofit here in Corpus Christi called Joaquin Into Inclusion. He says since Texas started banning the DEI programs, it's become nearly impossible. It's become nearly impossible for his organization to work with public schools, even though they're just trying to help kids with disabilities get included. What's your position on DEI, and how do you make sure special needs inclusion doesn't get caught up in that?
Well, I'm sorry to hear that, but of course, for me, it's about, the qualifications. Not very supportive of, of that. I understand his situation. I would love to, get his contact information and learn more about it. And what the situation is, because I do think that every situation is different.
Yeah.
So would love to connect with him. But for me, it's about, the qualifications. If you have the qualifications, you should be a part of that.
Right on. So do you think that the DEI bans have gone too far in some cases?
Well, I haven't seen that. And so for me, no. But in some cases, I'm sure. And so I would love to hear more about,
Yeah.
His,
What would you say to him?
his situation.
Yeah.
Would love to go to his business,
Yeah.
right? To go see what it's about, the years that he's been involved, and also the results, what the results have been.
Yeah.
So I would love to know more.
Should there be caveats for disability inclusion, maybe separate from there? Like say that was a problem.
No,
You know what I mean?
people with disabilities, have their own fight and their own barriers.
Yeah.
And so we should have something, separate, because we don't start in the same.
Yeah.
Right? Those who have disabilities have it more difficult.
Yeah, it's different.
A lot more different. So yes, but it's also every situation is different. Every program is different. And is this program bringing, the results?
Yeah.
So it's about the qualifications.
Right on. Thank you for not continuing on.
No.
Appreciate you. Let's talk about the water. Corpus Christi's western
Water.
reservoirs, Choke Canyon and Lake Corpus Christi, are at about 10% capacity. The city says we could hit a water emergency by November this year. The 1.2 billion desalinization plant was supposed to fix what got killed by the city council last September. What's your plan?
Well, the water issue has been a problem for quite a while now. We lost the sugarcane in South Texas because of it. And a lot of it has to do with, Mexico not releasing the water that they owe us. President Trump did put pressure on Mexico and put in place tariffs. And Mexico responded about 3 weeks ago saying that to lift the tariffs and that they would release the water that they owe us. Now, the problem is we also don't have the infrastructure in the reservoirs here. So Mexico has reservoirs all over, and that's at the state level. We need to make sure we can bring in the funding, but we need to build our own reservoirs that we don't depend on Mexico. Yes, Mexico is now saying that they're going to release the water. And President Trump said, if you do not release the water, we will come back harder with higher tariffs.
Crazy.
I do think that Mexico is going to do it because of what happened in Venezuela. I don't think they want a bad relationship with the United States. But having said that, we here in our side, we need to get funding from the state to build our own reservoirs because Mexico has them all over and we don't.
So what's the federal role? What can Congress actually do? Is this a local failure, a state failure, or both?
We all have a responsibility, but I do think that it does. The funding for the reservoirs is at the state level, but the federal government brings the funding as well. So it's something that we're all responsible. Not one of them is more responsible than the other. But I do think that the state of Texas needs to build more reservoirs.
Yeah.
And if the federal government can help with that in making sure that they have the funding to do so, absolutely. And then state representatives, that their job is to making sure that the money is put in place in those places.
Do you support the desalinization, or do you have an alternative?
Well, I think that should be up to the people of Nueces County. You know, how do the people of Nueces County, has that been put in the ballot? I do think that the people of Nueces County should be given an opportunity to decide what they think is best for their county.
Right on. So the Port of Corpus Christi supports over 76,000 jobs in this region. Refineries like Flint Hills Resources, ExxonMobil, have said publicly in council meetings that they might have to shut down and relocate if the water runs out. An ExxonMobil project supervisor told the city council he's going to tell his boss to transfer him out and sell his house before home values crash. How do you respond to that?
Well, the red flags are there, and that again, that's at the local elected officials need to make sure that they make the state aware of the situation in making sure that the water is released as soon as possible, so we do not lose these thousands and thousands of jobs, just like we did in South Texas with the sugarcane, because it happened to us in South Texas.
Should industry be getting water before residents?
No, the people should be getting the water first.
It's like,
yeah, no.
What happens to this economy if the refineries leave?
Well, I mean, we all need each other. That's the thing. It's not about, okay, just us. No, we need them because they provide jobs. And so we're all connected one another. And so it's important that we have the water for the residents, but also to keep these companies going, because these companies are the ones providing jobs to pay our rent, for us to be able to take care of our families. So we shouldn't be competing with each other. We need to be working with each other, residents and these companies, because at the end of the day, we're one.
The desalinization plant costs went from 160 million to 1.2 billion. The city council killed 6-3 after a 13-hour meeting, and 3 people actually got arrested. There are reports that the governor's chief of staff called a city council and threatened to cut state funding if they didn't approve the plant. What's going on here? Is this a failure of leadership?
Well, no one should be threatened. And again, this is a decision that the people of Nueces County have the right to decide. Whether the state likes it or not, the people of Nueces County have the right to decide what's best for their county.
Right on. Would you have voted against or for the desal plant?
Well, I'm not in Nueces County, and I don't want my vote to, persuade anybody. Because again, the people of Nueces County have the right to decide what's best for them. They're the ones that live here. They're the ones that live, on a daily basis. I do not want my opinion to persuade them to think differently.
Nice. Cool. Thank you for answering those questions. We'll get into the border and ICE. Obviously, that's a topic that's got to come up. We got to bring up your ex-husband was a border patrol agent. You lived with this issue up close in a way most politicians haven't. What do people misunderstand about border security?
They're just enforcing the laws. Doesn't matter who the president is. They're just enforcing the laws. The majority of our border patrol agents, ICE agents, are Hispanic. They're Hispanic, and they're just enforcing the laws. If the elected members of Congress, Democrats, don't like what our men and women are doing, then why are they not introducing to change the law? Change the law. Yeah. Because at the end of the day, deportations have always existed. ICE has existed way before President Trump. I mean, Obama was the deporter in chief. Tom Homan, who's in charge of the deportations right now, was in charge of the deportations under the Obama administration.
What was it like being married to someone on the front lines? Like, would your husband like talk about it and stuff? Like, what was it like?
No. And he's very private with his job. And, I have family in Border Patrol as well, uncles and cousins involved in Border Patrol as
that's
well.
interesting. Yeah.
And so,
did it change
again,
how you see immigration policy?
No, I grew up with my cousins and uncles being in Border Patrol. So South Texas is very friendly with law enforcement. It's very unfortunate what's happening right now.
Yeah.
But South Texas has always been very supportive of law enforcement or Border Patrol agents. Again, they're our family. So, when we see the disrespect, we take it personal because they're our family.
Yeah, for sure. Serge on Instagram, he asked a lot of questions. How do you reconcile being, well, you're not a Mexican immigrant, right?
Well, I'm from Mexico. I immigrated.
How do you reconcile being a Mexican immigrant yourself with supporting aggressive ICE reinforcement?
Well,
what would you say to the people who see that as a contradiction?
Yeah, well, I find it very disrespectful for people to think that because you're from Mexico, you don't have status. Why do people think that if you're from Mexico, you don't have status in this country? It's actually very insulting because a lot of people from Mexico come here to this country and do it the right way and do it legally. Yeah. It's very insulting that you assume that because they're from Mexico, that they don't have status. There's a lot of people who come here to this country and do it the right way. And again, you of all people, this individual, if you're from Mexico, you're probably not. You probably just go on vacation. You probably have no idea what it's like to live in Mexico. A lot of these people think they're Mexican and they're not. Most of them don't even speak Spanish. Ni hablan español.
I was listening to a podcast.
Ni hablan español.
Somebody was telling me, like, because they're from here and they spend time in Mexico, and he's like, you could spend so much time there, but they still know that you're American because of how you carry yourself. I thought that was interesting.
It is. Look,
said that.
In Mexico, you can't go and wave the American flag. It's a huge disrespect.
That's so crazy. Yeah.
But yet, here in the United States, you can come and wave the Mexican flag.
Or any other flag.
Or any other flag. That's America. That's the beauty of America. In Mexico, you go to Mexico and you speak English, they'll tell you, hey, aquí se habla español.
Is there a difference between legal or an illegal immigrant that people don't understand?
Well, of course, when you cross illegally into this country, you're putting yourself and your children's lives at risk. Most women get raped. Most children also get raped. Why would anyone in their right mind advocate and promote illegal immigration when the cartel del Golfo, los Zetas, are in charge of the southern border? You go to Tamaulipas right now. It's on fire.
What would you say to a family facing deportation right now?
Doesn't matter who the president is. Deportations have always existed, but the media right now is portraying it like it's something new.
Yeah, the media.
The media is creating this idea that, like as if deportations didn't exist. I mean, under the Obama administration, he was a deporter in chief. He deported more people than President Trump.
Do you think that some media is biased to either side?
Well, because midterms are coming. And every midterm, it's about immigration. Like, I'm sick and tired of it. And they're always using immigration and using emotion, and people fall for it. They've been in power before. Obama promised all kinds of things. So did Biden. Did they do any of it? No. They allowed millions of people to cross illegally into this country, gave those people status, not the people that have been waiting for decades. No. Gave the people that cross illegally into this country, gave them status, care. And the people that cross illegally into this country under the Biden administration, they damaged the immigrants in this country.
Here's a question about Joaquin, the guy we were talking about earlier with the inclusion. He says, do you feel like Obama did deportations the same way Trump is doing? I don't recall due process being thrown away during his time in office.
Oh, absolutely. Children were in cages. You remember that? You remember that, Joaquin? He's the one that had children. He's the one that had the children in cages. President Trump stopped the cages. And the thing, it's the media. It's how it's being portrayed. And just comply with the law. You have the right to protest, but you don't have the right to assault. So it's simple. Comply to the law. And honestly, most immigrants, a lot of these people, they're Americans protesting. Okay, these people they're not even Mexicans. The people protesting, majority of them are all white liberals.
Yep.
Okay, they're not no son Mexicanos, because most Mexicans are actually working.
What's your pitch to the
and not protesting and assaulting agents.
What's your pitch on the economy, specifically for South Texas and the coastal bend? What do we need here that Washington isn't giving
Jobs.
us?
Good paying jobs, $20 an hour jobs, $25 an hour jobs, $30 an hour jobs.
Yeah, what industry should we be investing in here?
We need to bring those corporations here. Those big corporations. We need to bring more billionaires.
Like which corporations? Like
Amazon.
what type? Okay.
You name it. I want whatever corporation that's going to come here to this area and offer thousands of jobs that are going to pay $25, $30, $40, $50 an hour and bring prosperity to this area.
Nice.
So I just want to be the biggest PR for Texas District 34.
That'll be the face for Texas.
It really is. I don't care what side you're on, but I do want to be the biggest PR for this area.
We're almost out.
We're
almost out. I got a few more. Which I'm trying to keep it before 1:30 up there. Here's a topic that's interesting to me. Rachel Caballero, she came on here. She runs for city council down here. Talking about the beaches, the privatization of the beaches. She asked, in 2013, Texas changed the Open Beaches Act to let SpaceX close Boca Chica Beach for rocket launches. Now, Starbase, which is basically SpaceX company town, controls beach access to Cameron County, which is part of your district. Do you believe the space exploration should supersede Texans' constitutional right to access to their coast, or would you vote against corporate takeover of the Texas coast?
That was actually at the state level, and so the people of Cameron County, should have the right to decide. So that's at the local and state level. That's not at the federal.
Yeah, my thought is I don't want my beach to be privatized, because I like to go to the beach. You know what I'm saying?
We have South Padre Island though. That's where most people go. Okay, no one was going there. We weren't going to South Padre Island.
What happened? Too many crabs or what?
We were going to South Padre Island. So come on. And SpaceX, has provided thousands and thousands of jobs.
Should there be a limit to how much SpaceX can close the beach? Like, can they take? Do you think they should take over more? I guess that's what the question is. Should they be able to take up more parts of the
Again, I think that's
coast?
a decision that's at the county level, and the people of Cameron County have the right to decide that. But if it's bringing prosperity, if it's bringing more jobs, that's something that the people of Cameron County need to see.
Which is the economy. You're basically talking about having jobs, economy, and all that.
Good paying jobs.
Yeah.
I mean, it's transformed that area, and that's what I'm big on. They've given also millions of dollars to a lot of the elementary schools there, and it's important that SpaceX invests in Cameron County.
How do you balance economic development with public access?
With communication with the people of Cameron County. I think it's about explaining the people of Cameron County what they're doing. I think it's about transparency. Like, you just have to talk to the people and tell them why you're doing what you're doing and how it's going to benefit them. It's important, and not just jump and make decisions without explaining the people of Cameron County why you're doing it. But I'm big on protecting South Padre Island and our beaches, because I do not want South Padre Island to look like Galveston.
That's fine. A last policy question. If you win in November, what's the first thing you would try to get done for this district? Not the whole platform, just the first priority.
So in my time in Congress, I introduced a bill called the RGV Act. And because Nancy Pelosi was the speaker, she did not allow me to put it on the floor. So the first thing I want to do is put my bill on the floor.
Wow.
This is a bill.
What's that like? How does that feel?
That's
so crazy.
It's difficult because this is a bill that has bipartisan support. It's billions of dollars for our public schools, and it's money to secure the schools in making sure that every school has the security, so we do not have another tragedy like Uvalde.
Crazy.
We secure banks, and we don't do that for our children. And our children, they're our engine Without them, we're nothing. You know, they're our purpose, and we're not doing enough to keep our schools safe. So a tragedy like that doesn't ever happen again. And so I introduced the RGV Act. It's billions of dollars in safety, but also in psychological health, mental health for children starting in elementary. So we see something happening, it's important that we act on it when they're a child to prevent them from doing anything as they
Nice.
get older. So it includes mental health, it includes resources for teachers as well, and a lot of funding for top security for all schools.
Why do you pick that one first?
Because I'm a mom, and when I'm a mom, my children go to public schools as well. I'm probably one of the few. Most members of Congress have their children in private schools. But mine go to public schools. And when I saw the tragedy happening in Uvalde, I resonated with that. I cannot imagine what these parents went through. And so we should act on it. That happened, we shouldn't wait for another tragedy to happen. So one of my biggest priorities is making sure that our schools are safe before something ever happens again.
Yeah, we've covered a lot of heavy stuff. Thank you for going with me through that.
It's
Appreciate
okay.
you. Yeah, I'm trying to keep it neutral as possible, and just not trying to pick a side. And that you understand. I think you understand.
I do.
So I want to end on something lighter. Get to know you as a person, not just a candidate. So you have 4 kids.
I
What do
do.
they think about all this? Like their mom running for Congress.
They're my biggest supporters. They are. I mean, my oldest is going into the Air Force, and before he leaves to the Air Force, he's like, I'm going to be, knocking doors, Mom. So
Wow.
I'll help you get you across the line in the primary right before I head to the Air Force.
Did he try something else other than the Air Force, or did he want to go to the Air
He's
Force?
always wanted to.
Really? Wow.
He always wanted to do the Air Force for quite a while now.
That's so
Yeah.
cool. Yeah, I got my son's 5, man. Yeah, I love the little dude so much. It's so
And
awesome.
and Jaden, who's a junior, he wants to go into the Army or
Wow.
Border Patrol, like his dad. He's still kind of undecided, but
Yeah.
either military, which is pretty cool because they're the first in my family who actually go into the military. So I'm really proud.
That's cool.
But
That's,
the Army does worry me a little bit as a mom. The Air Force, not so much.
yeah. Do they help you with the campaign events?
Oh my gosh, yes.
yeah.
I had my little girls were here with me this weekend.
Cool.
At the Trade Center, and they were there with the sign.
What was that
Vote
like?
for Mom.
I saw the pictures and stuff. Did you enjoy? How'd you like the Trade Center out there?
Yeah, they loved it. I
Yeah, that's
loved it.
cool.
It's great interacting with people. It's my favorite part.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how do you balance being a mom with all of this?
By including them as well. And having that communication with them, which is very important.
Yeah.
Having that constant communication with them and including them. Like I said, my oldest knocks doors,
Yeah.
about 100 doors a day.
Whew.
Every single day, and he's like, "Hi, that's my mom. I need you to vote for my mom." They're like, "That's really your mom?"
It's
Like, yeah, because he's a big boy. He's like 6 foot, and so
Wow.
it was like, "Are you serious?" Like, yeah, that's my mom. I need you to vote for my mom. So yeah, he
Exactly.
knocks over 100 doors every single day. He's
What do
knocking
you-
doors.
yeah.
I'm so grateful
What do you want for them to learn from all of this?
to never give up,
Mm-hmm.
not to be quitters. If it's something that they truly believe in, for them to fight and fight and fight and
Definitely.
fight and fight and fight.
Yeah, for sure, man. Have a good work ethic.
Having that work ethic, which is something that I inherited from my parents.
Yeah, definitely. Hey, baby, that's my wife,
Aw,
Christina.
Christina. Hi, Christina.
Yeah. Yeah. What do you do when you're not campaigning? Do you even exist anymore? What's a normal day like for Mayra Flores?
I love exercising, but I love being home.
Yeah.
I
You're a
do.
homebody.
I
Oh.
love being home. I enjoy it. My cup of coffee
Yeah.
in my port. Yes, I love being home.
So cool.
Yeah.
So exercising hobby. What's your comfort food?
Tacos, for sure.
Tacos, like mini
Bistec.
tacos or actual.
No, bistec,
Okay.
cebolla, cilantro, todo, yeah.
So does the Valley have the best tacos?
Yes, we have amazing food. Yes. Calacas is one of my favorite taquerias.
Right on. What's something people would be surprised to learn about you? Something that doesn't show up in the news stories.
I'm very approachable. Anybody can can come up to me and have a conversation with me. I don't care what side you're on, and we can carry a conversation and focus on what we agree and not what we disagree. And just how approachable I am.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah, a lot of people think that I'm not, but I am.
Yeah, that's cool. All right, man. So we're coming to an end here, Mayra. Thank you for coming in.
Thank
you guys
you,
for,
my friend.
joining
I'm
us.
so happy that I had an opportunity to come here and introduce myself. And thank you for having me.
Yeah, so I want to give you the last word. What do you want people from Corpus Christi to know about you that they're not going to hear in a campaign, ad, or a debate?
My faith in God, in my loyalty for my family, and my loyalty for the people that elected me to be in the position that I'm in. And so I'm 100% all in for Texas District 34. Like I said,
Nice.
I will be your biggest PR.
Cool.
And we'll always put this area first.
Right on. Where can people find you, follow you, learn more about your campaign?
Facebook, Instagram, on X, Mayra Flores, and I do have my website, mayrafloresforcongress.com.
Yeah, it's easy to remember. Mayra Flores, cool. Thank you for coming on. I appreciate you taking the time for this real conversation. I think that's about it. Everything I have. So that was Mayra Flores, candidate from Congress. And Cacalacas is bomb. That's Lito. Hey, Lito's gonna be out here. Corpus Christi Originals Comedy Night, February 6th. Check him out. He's a funny, clean comedian. So that was Mayra Flores, candidate in Texas 34. Thanks to everybody who sent in questions. Joaquin, Rachel, Joshua, and Serge. Y'all made this better. Appreciate you guys. If you got something out there, share it. Subscribe. We'll see you next time. I'm Jesus Hernandez, Corpus Christi Originals. Appreciate y'all. Bye.